Southampton is a really special place. Could I have the next slide, please? We are a world-class university. Our department has consistently been in the top 50 for archaeology in the World University Rankings, and this year we're number 44. We're an incredibly welcoming, intellectually vibrant and well-resourced department, and we offer outstanding student opportunities. We're going to be talking about all of these things as we move through the presentations, and we hope that you understand and enjoy everything that we're going to tell you today. So I'm going to pass over to Julian, who's going to start off by telling you about the Masters in Maritime Archaeology.
The programme in Maritime Archaeology was established in the mid-90s by Professor John Adams, fresh off the back of excavating the Mary Rose as one of the lead archaeologists on that. And since then it has grown in terms of its international reputation, the expanse of what it covers, I think, and certainly the academic staff that are involved in it. There are now 6 academic maritime archaeologists within the Department of Archaeology, of which I'm one, that work on both the MA and the MSc in Maritime Archaeology, but also provide teaching to our undergraduates and supervise our PhD students. And we have quite a lot of throughput from the undergrad course to the master's course and then on into PhD study. And one of the great strengths of maritime archaeology at Southampton, in fact, probably the thing that makes it unique in the context of the global context of universities that offer maritime archaeology at master's level, and there are not many, is that we probably cover the entire breadth of the subject between the 6 of us. So other places may offer a real specialism in ship construction, which we do, or submerged landscapes, which we do, or ethnography, which we do, or submerged cultural remains, heritage management, which we also do. So as a result of that, and because of the extent of the expertise and the people that we have here, we're able to offer you the full kind of grounding that you need. And we're able to do this now with, as I've said, sort of 25 years of experience of teaching at master's level and of teaching maritime archaeology. So we understand where people come from to enter the discipline, and we understand where people end up when they leave the discipline. And as such, we have a deep understanding of what you really need to learn to take you from where you've come from to where most people probably want to go, which is a job in maritime archaeology. Across this time span, we probably, on general, I think we probably have a long-term average of about 16 students a year. Sometimes it's about 20 this year. Last year it was about 14, and so on. And we have a pretty even female-male split. There's slightly more ladies doing maritime archaeology than there are men. The background of our students is incredibly diverse, and I think this speaks a lot to the discipline itself, and the diversity of people within it, and where people end up actually to an extent as well. So although our admissions criteria sort of makes reference to a traditional degree for this kind of thing in archaeology or history or a related subject, in practice we have people coming into the master's course from a law background, marine biology, engineering. We had somebody from forensics a few years ago. There was somebody who did a degree in music that has applied to do this year's or next year's intake, and these kinds of things. We certainly have a mixture of divers and non-divers within the cohort every year, because one of the things that we feel particularly strongly about is that maritime archaeology is not something that is restricted to the underwater world. Okay, there is heaps and heaps and heaps of maritime archaeology in the intertidal zone, on land, in museum archives, and so on and so on and so on. So we do not require you to dive as part of the degree. We will take you diving and we will teach you diving skills, but it's not an absolute prerequisite of things, so that should not put anybody off. And we also have an incredibly international cohort. This has always been a feature of the programme. It has been a very unusual year when there have been more people from the UK doing the programme than there have people from other parts of the world. At most, it only ever reaches a sort of a 50-50 split. Currently, we have people enrolled from Canada, China, France, Greece, Hungary, Poland, Spain, USA and the UK. Last year we had students from Chile, people from Australia in the past, Norway, and so on and so on and so on. Pretty much everywhere, really. Everywhere where there's some water or the remains of something that once had something to do with water. People have come from those backgrounds and have undertaken the programme. And what we seek to really do, as I've hinted at, is to cover the full breadth of the maritime archaeological discipline within this. So we think about some quite broad topics at the beginning of the year in a module called Maritime Aspects of Culture, which is really there to bring all of that diversity of background together and get everybody up to the sort of the same level of understanding of what we are talking about with things like maritime cultures or certain aspects of archaeological theory and so on. And after that, really everything else is about specialism to suit the kind of the portfolio of material that you want to come up with at the end of the day. So this might be doing a very kind of traditional approach, looking at nautical archaeology, so ship construction, that kind of thing, and shipwreck material, followed by ancient Mediterranean seafaring, for example, so then applying that to the ancient world. Or it might be more looking at maritime museums as a background, heritage management, environmental impact assessments, these kind of things, or very much going down the line of thinking about sedimentology and geoarchaeology and those kind of skills. And then everyone does a dissertation in which you take your own individual piece of research and sort of explore that and present it across a 20,000 word dissertation topic. And one of the things we emphasize as we go through the module is practical work. And this is not, I think, again, we're quite different in that many universities will look to run a field school, usually in the summer, and usually for a period of maybe 2 to 3 weeks, something like that, on one particular site. What we have always tended to do, and what Professor John Adams has always emphasised, is the need to do the practical work at the point when you need to do the practical work, not 3 months later in July or 6 months later in July. So if you need to learn how to use an airlift underwater to excavate a site as part of applied maritime archaeology, then we'll do the airlift training as part of that module. If you need to learn how to record a boat and understand the intricacies of ship and boat construction as part of nautical archaeology, which is in October and November, then we'll do that. This might mean getting a bit cold outside or something like that, but you know, we're all fairly tough people as archaeologists. So we try to integrate the practical work as we go through the programme across the course of the year. And this also means that everybody gets a fair run at their dissertations, and it also means that where they need to, they can integrate field work into their dissertation because they're not spending a month off it going off in a field school or something like that. So that is really just I guess a flavour briefly of the breadth of what we do, our kind of method of how we do it, and the kind of the background of the people who've done it before. And I would say that increasingly the global kind of alumni of people from the master's programme that are now off in heritage agencies, museums, successful self-employment, and so on, that have come through Southampton is, you know, increasing year on year on year on year. So the family of people who have studied here is growing all the time.